Hello and a warm welcome to Federal special program Capital Beat. Today, Congress leader Akshay Kranti Bam withdrew his nomination from Indore constituency from where BJP had fielded Shankar Lalwani. And after he withdrew his nomination, senior BJP leader Kailash Vijaywargi tweeted a picture. It was actually a selfie which he took with Akshay Kranti Bam, and he wrote that welcome the Congress nominee in the party led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, JP Nadda, VD Sharma, and Mohan Yadav. This was a picture which he tweeted after the nominations were withdrawn. Now, this is not the first incident where the candidates have withdrawn their nomination. You saw what happened on April 22nd in Surat. After that, we saw what happened with the Samajwadi Party candidate in Khajuraho. And now this is the third incident in Indore. Now, is this BJP's deliberate tactics and a strategy to annihilate the opposition and, more significantly, the Congress? Why is the Election Commission silent? Can the courts not intervene? And what if it continues to remain a pattern over the next 5 phases of the Lok Sabha elections? Joining me now is Rakesh Dikshit. He's a senior political commentator from Madhya Pradesh. So thank you so much. We have Girish Joshi, a senior political commentator, joining us from Gujarat. We have Hemant Atri, who's a senior journalist, political commentator, joining us from Delhi. And Pushparaj Deshpande, he's a social and political commentator. I'll begin today's conversation with Rakesh Dikshit. Rakesh, what do you really see today's episode where Akshay Kranti Bam has withdrawn his nomination? Now, was this something which has really come as a big surprise for Congress? Or Congress was already in the know of it, that something could happen like this? Yes.
No. It was certainly a shock and surprise for the Congress. People might say after this happened that they always suspected that Akshay Kranti Bam might switch the side, but it was not the case. He had been rigorously campaigning for his own candidature for the last couple of months. In fact, his candidature had been announced in March itself, and he was quite vigorously campaigning. And as it happens in any political party, that some people are sulking, some people enthusiastically join the campaign. So was the case with Akshay Kranti Bam, but he had been campaigning. But why this happened suddenly, all of a sudden, we have to see in a context. We'll have to go, let's understand the chronology. We had first phase of election on 21st April, and voting percentage fell sharply by 7%. It's 8%. It came down to 60% average. It rattled BJP badly because BJP had been looking to increase the voting percentage and was hoping that the more the voting percentage increases, the more vote it will get. That did not happen. Amit Shah warned, rather I would say threatened the BJP leaders in Madhya Pradesh. If this continues, if the voting percentage slips again, ministers in whose constituency voting percentage falls might lose their job. Despite that, in the second phase, the voting percentage fell even steeply. It went down by 8% to 64%. This happened on 26th April. On the same day, what happened in Indore, there was a 17-year-old case about Akshay Bam. It was a minor scuffle about Chota Mota Marpit. Suddenly, in the old case that was dug out, and everybody, including Akshay himself, might have forgotten all about it. That case was dug out, and a section was added. Attempt to murder, 307 section was added to it. And he was summoned to appear in the court on 10th of May. And so the sword of arrest was dangling upon him. What he could do? He was under pressure, tremendous pressure, despite his integrity, despite his loyalty to the Congress. After all, he is a very rich man. He had shown his uh, in his affidavit in the election that he owns property worth 70 crores. He owns three institutions. He's CEO of some institution. He's a very well-read man. He's a 44-year-old man. So he had no option but to join the BJP. And Kailash Vijayvargi, who does the hatchet job for the Union Home Minister Amit Shah, he brought him in and he showed him as a trophy so that his ministership can be saved. At least he has something to show for his labor that look, I'm the one who has brought and almost ensured that our candidate in Indore wins quite. He was going to win anyway, so his winning path has been smoothing further. Yes, please go on.
Right. All right. So I like the word which you use as trophy. But another thing which I wanted to ask Pushpraj, and I wanted to come to you for, that this coercive tactics, of course, Kailash Vijayvargi is trying to win the brownie points, and he's trying to show Narendra Modi and JP Nadda and others that look, I have done my bit, so I will save my minister's job. But this coercive tactics, how long do you think that it's become a pattern now? And some kind of a novel pattern which the political parties have been caught off guard. I'm sure Congress wouldn't have thought, even after Surat, didn't Congress learn its lessons? Even after seeing what happened in Khajuraho, didn't Congress learn its lessons? Pushpraj.
Hi, Niluji, am I audible to you and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
panelists?
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
No, so see, there are two things here. One is that it is understand that the BJP is clearly on the back foot for a party that claims to be winning 400 seats. What they are doing here, what they have done in Maharashtra, what they have done elsewhere, smacks of desperation. It does not smack of confidence. I mean, if you're so confident about your candidates winning, of your track record, you wouldn't need to resort to underhand tactics to actually gerrymander the field like they have done right now. So that's the first thing. Please contextualize that. This shows that the prevailing mood in the country after the first two phases is swinging away from the BJP. That is clearly reflected in the tactics that they're having to resort to. That's the first thing. The second thing is that it is nearly impossible. Like, see, it is pervasive knowledge that there are pressure tactics being deployed by the government, by the BJP, deploying and misusing the government machinery. That is well known. But the fact of the matter is, when someone will crack, when someone thinks that it's too much, like it's happened in Maharashtra with a very senior leader, it's impossible for any party leadership to predict. You can at best try to tell them that, we are with you, we'll protect you, so on and so forth. But ultimately, what the breaking point of an individual is something that only they know. So so let's put things in perspective. Yes, the Congress party, like any other party, can take corrective measures to ensure that poaching does not happen. The leadership can regularly be in touch with the candidates. You can ensure that if you guarantee to them that we stand by you, you can also make sure that if someone is even thinking of swaying or making weird statements, you can crack the whip and have some strict disciplinary action. But beyond that, just think about. I mean, it's a political party, right? You do have the freedom to move around here and there. And the fact of the matter is, you can't predict all these outcomes. These are variables in a dynamic election. So I wouldn't blame the party leadership for having failed to rein in someone who was under tremendous pressure. What could the party have possibly done beyond a certain point? Let me ask that question to you and the other panelists. That's the second point which I wanted to raise. The third point is that understand that what is
No,
happening now.
what I'm asking is that this is also part of the political management, and these are some hard questions which Congress will be asked of. That even after seeing what happened in Surat, after seeing what happened in Khajuraho, couldn't they have got their house together? And what was the corrective they
How?
could have adopted?
No, but how? What I mean, barring the Congress party central leadership actually deploying bouncers around every candidate, what are you going to do when there is going? We know that there is agencies have been deploying to harass people. Every single candidate, every single office bearer is under attack, some form or the other. Now the point is, how much can you ring fence a candidate under pressure? Something they also have to, like as I said, either they have to be able to withstand that pressure, or they have to be so ideologically clear that, boss, no matter what happens, I will not leave. But you can't ring fence. I mean, these are not children, small children in kindergarten that you ring fence with, what are those things called around creches? When you have those big bars around the beds. You can't do that kind of stuff. This is just ludicrous. But the third thing is that, see, what the BJP has done is fundamentally restructured democratic institutions, not just democratic institutions, the democratic process. Because now, by doing this kind of walkover kind of politics that they have introduced, you have effectively introduced a lack of trust in the system. If people don't have a choice to vote for someone who they think is the
Exactly.
right person, then what happens is that you create a lack of faith in the entire system, and that is actually a very dangerous precedent to set, because it has implications for our social contract. Because if individuals and people don't think that they have faith in the system, in the democratic system, then they just give up. Either they'll migrate, or this is like a recipe for some kind of civil unrest.
Hmm. Right. All right. I'll come to one or three now. There are reports, and this Sutra, which is a user Twitter user handle, they have tweeted that apparently this Devendra Yadav, the senior Congress leader in Madhya Pradesh, he had called up the central leadership apparently and called them and told them that. And I'll quickly read out exactly what he has said on the phone. He said आपने पैसे देकर पार्टी को टिकट दिया था इसलिए वह भाग गया, which means that because of money you gave ticket to uh, Akshay Kranti Bam, and that's why he's run away. संघर्ष करने वालों को टिकट नहीं देते, means the people who are struggling, they don't get the tickets. This is what the message from Devendra Yadav, who is the Congress leader in Madhya Pradesh. This is because he was annoyed, he was left all alone when the nominations were withdrawn. But looking at the larger picture, I mean, how could have Congress corrected that? How could Congress have been uh, prepared from beforehand? We do not know. I mean, whether it was possible to preempt this kind of a crisis or not. But is this not a very dangerous precedent for a democratic nation like India, and where the system of BJP is just trying to impose only one choice on the people? What Pushpraj was saying, that people will not have alternatives, and they are just being imposed that look, there is one candidate, and that is you have to vote for BJP. Yes, Himanshi.
Minuji, it's a new form of democracy. It's a new way of ruling the country. It's new way of achieving the majority, which you are very far
Democratic.
from.
Do
The
we
real
say it's an autocratic democracy?
autocrat. This is what you call elected autocracy, in a way. It's a very famous phrase nowadays, which is being used. But see, we have to take it in two different ways. One is the infighting within the Congress. It is reality pan-India. Wherever you go, you will find the same stuff. Yesterday also we were discussing about Delhi, Haryana, and so many other places, including Madhya Pradesh also. Today the same thing has happened, which happened earlier in Gujarat, Surat particularly. See, Congress party basically has certain inbuilt fault lines. Mr. Devendra Yadav here, somebody there on the other side. See where they have hit. They have hit where it hurts most. This area belongs to Jitu Patwari, who is Rahul Gandhi's handpicked man. He is a PCC president, serving PCC president. He was appointed after the unceremonious removal of Mr. Kamal Lal after that debacle in assembly elections. Jitu Patwari is basically, many people in the state Congress, particularly the senior ones, they don't like him. So not only BJP wanted to embarrass Jitu Patwari and the leadership the Congress party insiders were also in hand in glove, as they were doing all across in Haryana, in Delhi, in every place. So they have done the same thing in Madhya Pradesh also, particularly Indore. This is a foregone conclusion that he is only alone. No, there may be certain, instigations from where he had to go to this way, that he has to leave the party. The thing is 307 IPC added. That means 10 years in imprisonment. Or he might be arrested day after tomorrow. That is the whole thing. But the real issue behind is there is a clear-cut ideological deficit. One. Two, to some extent, I agree with the person, gentleman Yadav, who says that the rich people are given tickets. You tell me one thing, if you, me, or Pushpraj were there, who are not having a penny in their account, what can ED do with us? Or some BJP party can do with us? Once I am rich with 70 crores of rupees, I wear 14 lakhs of watch, and I, wear it on my sleeves. So what will BJP? I am a sitting duck for them. That's how they play. So BJP, not only BJP, Congress has to introspect also to some extent. That is point number one. Number two, this is a standard operating procedure as far as BJP is concerned. They look for certain, soft targets as they did in, Surat. And Surat is a classic case. There was crime branch of Gujarat which was invoked to trace the BSP candidate. He was handpicked from a, some rest house or something, what you call it, some farmhouse he was taken up. And then his nomination was also withdrawn, along with 10, 12 other people who were independent. So BJP has redefined the democracy the way they want it. It started from Chandigarh, if you recollect, the mayoral election. Supreme Court came all heavily on this. But did they took any lesson? Sorry, they didn't. After that, Khajuraho episode was before anybody. Then Surat was there. Then today Indore was there. The most unfortunate part that we are missing is, what are our democratic institutions doing? Has Election Commission sought any report from Khajuraho or Surat or Indore today? That is point number one. Number two, cannot High Court or Supreme Court take suo motu cognizance of such tendencies? Sorry, they are not taking. So our democracy is going to be in complete peril if it continues to be so. See, it's not about who winning or who losing. There is a democratic process well defined in the Constitution. What they are doing with it? Simply by forcing somebody to withdraw his nomination. What you want to prove? You will win one seat. They have done exactly the same in Arunachal. I will like to apprise your listeners and viewers. There are only 60 seats in Arunachal Assembly. 10 of the people, 10 out of 60 are, elected unopposed. Have you ever heard in any assembly? Particularly in Northeast, where there is such a fierce contest on every seat, on every vote. What they are doing and what the judiciary is doing, what the Election Commission is doing. I'm sorry, I have to say this. Everybody, including media, all of us also, part of us, we have all become an arm of the government. This is not a healthy sign. It will go in a very long way. It shows BJP in a very poor light. And let me tell you one more thing. If the situation continues like this poll percentage that we are discussing for last about 15 days, why it is coming down? One reason may be, EVM. But these tendencies are also equally responsible.
I'll interrupt you because there's some breaking news which is coming in, and that is related to Jeetu Patwari and Vikrant Bhuria. That there is an FIR lodged against them. Apparently, they had exposed the family of a rape victim, and which is why this FIR has been lodged against Jeetu Patwari and Vikrant Bhuria. Yes, Imanji. And then I'll go to...
So, what I was saying was this poll percentage, the way it is going down, it will go further down and it will erode the common man's interest, not only in election, but democracy at large also. That is a very unfortunate part. Nobody is thinking about the seriousness. BJP is after getting seats by hook, by crook, by any way. But they are hurting the democracy at its core. This has never happened right from 1947 till date. It's a very, very bad precedent. It's very unfortunate. It's a new danger for the democracy. And I think not only media, Election Commission and judiciary, if not High Court, let it be Supreme Court. Take a suo motu cognizance of it. Let them not wait for somebody to approach them and pass, orders the way they want. But this tendency has to be stopped very effectively and very, very soon. The sooner the better.
Right, Yugiriji, you saw the happenings in Surat, and that day also we had touch base. But can the courts really take suo motu cognizance of this? What has happened in case of Surat? And if you connect this with what has happened in Indore, we haven't seen the courts really waking up. We haven't seen any sort of PIL or any case being registered. Neither the parties which are affected, they haven't also approached the court. So what does one do at this point of time, and how do you arrest this rot and nip it in the bud so that it doesn't happen again? Yes,
Let me correct it point-wise. The case is already pending in Supreme Court and the date is very near. Shiv Khare, the motivational leader, has already filed an PIL, right? And if you just know, the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice has passed a very nasty remark on that we will have to take up this case very early because this cannot be allowed to happen. And they already issued a notice to EC telling that what is this happening? How can a person be declared elected without going through the whole procedure? And what we read between the lines, he said that nota is also a concept to decide. So you cannot neglect that. You can't, because if I don't want to vote for that particular candidate, I should be given an opportunity under Public Representation Act. So if that judgment comes through, and if the nota is produced there on the date of election, definitely is going to lose. Then Shiv Khare has also added that if there is more than the required percentage of nota, that man should be disqualified for 5 years. Now that remains to the best wisdom of a court what they decide on. But definitely something is coming up on that subject. Secondly, if we talk of suo motu, there should be a mass affected by that, and there should be a single complaint on that. Now here what happens is that is they already acted on that. If you very well remember, court openly told Uddhav Thackeray that had you not resigned, we would have given you the government back. So once some certain actions, court cannot take suo motu. But once it is reported, definitely they'll take the action. And urgent hearing, which was not possible, is already taken on Shiv Khare's case. And they're already hearing now. They've issued notice to EC, so they'll have to wait for that. That what is he saying under Public Representation Act, and how can you deny the people of Surat who do not want to vote for this man? So if that comes up, the things are very clear. Secondly, if you see Indore's case, I just confirmed with my brother, who is a very renowned criminal lawyer. He was in Delhi right now. He told me that there are all options open for him to go to the court, because 16 years old case, and if he's attending the trials, you cannot suddenly add 307 to that and say attempt to murder. If they have done that, High Court can even give him the bail and ask the police to answer for that, how that has happened. And even Supreme Court is open for him. So definitely, I think it's a very new case. They will take the action. They won't wait for that. And if that is proven that he has been kidnapped or he has been taken to ransom and then asked to resign, this will definitely affect the election of that constituency also. So we'll have to wait and watch. We cannot jump to the conclusion. Things are going on, but legal things do take time. But everything is on. Nothing is still kept in blind.
Right. Pushpraj, but talking about the selective action of Election Commission, that is also something which needs to be discussed at this point of time. When Aam Aadmi Party came out with a campaign song in which they had made a mention of the fact that Arvind Kejriwal was in jail, immediately Election Commission pounced on the party. Now here there is a blatant, the way the democracy is being shattered, the democracy is being played around, and Election Commission doesn't have to say anything on this. Are the courts not going to really say something or comment on this kind of a thing so that this doesn't happen in the future?
See, there is a phrase called in jurisprudence called public trust doctrine, and it is very intangible to measure or quantify. But public trust doctrine basically, by and large, boils down to the fact that certain actions or norms or protocols by state functionaries or institutions have to be adhered to for the public to have faith in them, and hence in a mature democracy. To put it in a simple way, that institutions and public officials, including elected public servants, have to adhere to their Raj Dharma to for people to continue to have faith in democracy, right? That is being violated not just by the Election Commission through its inactivity and inertia, but also by the BJP, which is clearly gerrymandering the process to benefit itself, right? And as our previous panelists have said, Hemanji has alluded to this, Yadavji has alluded to this, Girishji has alluded to this. This severely compromises everyone's faith in democracy. I would be indignant if I was deprived of, or not even deprived, if I was robbed of my choice for a candidate. I would not, I mean, forget about voting. I would be incensed at the system. And you cannot you cannot create such systemic anger against something that has to that has to work for everyone. That is the first thing. And the second thing, to what Hemanji was saying earlier, which is the ideological deficit in candidates. This is a fact. I didn't want to allude to this earlier, but the fact is, parties seriously have to introspect and think very hard about who they propose as candidates, because sooner or later there are going to be pressures. Like like many of our freedom fighters faced during the independence struggle. But if you're not able to withstand that pressure, because for you, your properties, your assets, your financial or individual freedoms and rights are more important, then you should not be in this game, because you are doing this country a grave disservice by not just fighting against what is clearly an autocratic and oppressive regime, but you're also depriving citizens of their right to have a public representative that works for them. And in that, you should not be in that. See, this is greed, pure and simple. You thought that it will be really cool for me to stand as a candidate and I will not withstand any pressure. I'll just give a lot of money. I have a lot of money, so I'll stand. That's it. And the party is very mistaken. Any party is very mistaken if they think that just the financial viability of a candidate's ability to stand triumphs everything else, including ideological commitment, sacrifice, and idealism. So I completely agree with Hemanji on that. This
So
cannot
that's
continue. It absolutely cannot.
yeah,
You think?
absolutely.
I mean, think about it. Did when Pandit Nehru and Sardar Patel, after independence in the first general election, did they think that Rafi Ahmad Kidwai or Maulana Azad don't have enough money? They have not made money during the independence struggle. Let's only give tickets to the Birlas. Let's only give tickets to the Tatas. Did they think like that? No, right? Have
Right.
faith in your on your cadre. Have faith in your leader. They are the ones who are connected to the people. Have faith in them, and trust me, they will be loyal to you for the rest of their lives.
Right. That's right, absolutely. But I'll come to you, Rakesh. That I don't know how far these reports are true, but is it correct that some of the BJP leaders have actually threatened, saying that there are many more Akshay Kranti Bums to come in the forthcoming days, and there will be many more nominations being withdrawn like this? Are there reports of that? I'm hearing
Given
people
the
talking about it.
sure, see, uh, there are reports about the BJP threatening Congress candidates, and I say, given their lack of morality, they can stoop to any low. So that's not surprising what they can do or they might do. But nomination of there are 4 rounds of elections in Madhya Pradesh. 2 rounds have already taken place. Third round is due on 7th May, and the fourth is on 13th May. For a nomination paper, last day of nomination paper, filing nomination paper for the fourth round was today itself. So the chances of Indore happening or repeating in other constituencies almost over. So, but chances of candidate announcing their withdrawal or backing off the contest are very much there. So that cannot be ruled out given the BJP's strong arm tactics. As you
Absolutely.
said,
But
this Vijay Vargi having scored brownie point, that's true. He has scored brownie points. He has ensured smoother victory for Shankar Lalwani in Indore. But at the same time, the BJP has run the risk. It's a Pyrrhic victory, in fact, in Indore. BJP has run the risk of losing in other adjacent constituency where it is otherwise well encompassed. For instance, in Devas, for Neemach, Mandsaur, in Dhar and Jhabua, just tribal-dominated constituencies, because people are outraged. I can sense it since in my Facebook friendship, there are a lot of journalist friends from Malwa region, and the kind of comments they have been making that gives you a sense that people are very outraged and very angry about this whole incident, particularly against Kailash Vijayवर्गीय and Ramesh Mandula, his his close confidant. So, in a way, it's a Pyrrhic victory as far as the chance repeating in other constituencies is almost gone, because
right,
unless the BJP exerts tremendous pressure on Congress candidates to announce their withdrawal from the contest, and this is not
right,
going to happen. And there aren't very many candidates like Akshay Bam who have a lot to lose in terms of financial clout. He owned the 3 institutions. He was quite well-to-do. He belongs to
right.
very well-to-do family. He's an entrepreneur. So he has a lot to do, a lot to lose if he antagonizes the BJP. But in many constituencies, particularly in SC, scheduled tribe constituencies, for instance, Omkar Markam or Kantilal Bhuria, they are died in the wool congressmen. They won't budge, they won't yield. So I don't foresee any chances of Indore repeating in other constituencies.
Right. But Hemanji, is it too much of a risk which BJP has taken? BJP has bit the bullet to save maybe one constituency, but now they will end up losing lakhs and lakhs of voters from their grid. And voters might just turn against BJP now. What about the risk like that?
Niluji, BJP just doesn't care about anything. It doesn't care about the people. It doesn't care about the morality. It doesn't care about the constitution, rules, regulation, anything. Basically, they are after the power. They started with 4. Now they have stopped that, but they have already got two seats. One in Surat, one they are going to be getting from here. Once the person is, taken into the BJP front. The real issue is a bit different. When will people start recognizing the whole attempt what they are doing? If at all they get a third chance, what will be the new shape of democracy? What will be the new form of democracy? This has to be told to the people. Once the effective democracy is in place, and then these tendencies are developing, where it will lead to, that is the real point of concern. That is the real point of contention as far as we all are concerned. We are law-abiding citizens. What BJP is doing, they are not doing one for 1 or 2 seats. They are trying to establish a particular, standard operating procedure. That look, we can do this also. This is the most unfortunate thing, and this tendency, as you rightly pointed out, it has to be, nipped in the bud only. Otherwise, they are capable of doing anything. What they did in Chandigarh, nobody can imagine. And the way Supreme Court decided that case, that is again a history. They always refer the case back to the people, then the returning officer will declare the result. That's all. But Supreme Court itself declared the person. That's a big thing. If any law-abiding citizen, any self-respecting party would have taken a leaf from that. But BJP doesn't care. That is the most unfortunate part.
But Girish, what would you like to say to this entire episode? What happened in Surat? Then we saw Khajuraho also, where Samajwadi Party candidate was there. He also withdrew his nomination. And now there is an All India Forward Bloc candidate. He was apparently a former IPS officer who's now, but he's just there for the namesake. He's a weak candidate. But after what has happened in Surat, after what has happened in Khajuraho, and then again we see a replay of a similar thing in Indore, what are the lessons which I don't know whether BJP will really learn its lessons, but what can the opposition party really do from here on to save their house?
Nilu, what Indore is for Vijay Varghese, the Surat was for C.R. Patil. So there's nothing new. When he goes from pillar to post, telling everybody that I want all the constituencies to be won by more than 5 lakh votes, they know the ground reality. So just to establish himself, he has played this game that at least in his area, he has given you the seat. Now, this is not going too far. That also we know. Because everything was a smooth sailing for BJP unless Bond episode came out. After that, everything started tumbling. The Ram Mandir failed. Then this Bond created a big issue. Now finances are coming back with, it's too much of a trouble for getting the funds also. That is also an episode. So these are aberrations that will happen. As you rightly said, now it's not much possible. And whatever you have done is you have established that you got Surat. You already had 26. 100% seats you have. So one you have assured. But what about the other 8 to 10 that you are losing because of the Kshatriyas? And they are very adamant, and the things are going worse from day to day. As there is some crafted design here, because Rupala is not budging up, and he's still trying to spoil the atmosphere. And now other communities also joining them.
Girish, but is BJP writing the story of its decline with its own hand? Because if they know that this situation is not right, situation is not conducive for them on the ground, and with these coercive measures, is the BJP not writing the story of its own decline?
No, as a very honest commandant of the party, after Ram Mandir debacle, it's only Modi. Now there is no BJP. Everything is done is by Modi. Bond Modi ne nikala. Everything now Modi. Now there is no BJP. He never sells BJP. Modi has done this. So I think as a very honest commander, he's trying to take the responsibility of the failure also, I think, because now he has no way ahead. Now today, if you see, there is no local leader doing anything. It's as per their general practice, it was only Amit Shah and Modi trying to adjust the thing. Now that is a failure. So this is the last resort. He's a warrior. They will have to fight till the last end. So they're trying this. They know the things are lost. How far you will be able to manage that? Because ultimately there are legal consequences also to this. So if for a while, if they are happy by doing all these things, but as he rightly said, this is a wrong message going through, and even some people who are sitting on the fence have now finally decided that we can't go with this party because इनको गुंडागर्दी करना आता है और कुछ नहीं आता है. These are the common words being used. So this is ultimately a loss for BJP.
Absolutely. And we can't say, or neither the Prime Minister can say, that India is a mother of democracy when things like this are happening on the domestic front. It's really unfortunate what is happening. But yes, during the discussion, this point which came up, that the people, the citizens of India will be devoid of the alternatives, because here there is a system which is trying to impose just one party on the citizens. Whether they like it or not, they will have to go with one choice. And that surely is not democracy.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.